Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called Why Poor Americans Are Disappearing in Mexico. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on that notification bell so you can be notified every time we post a new episode. Also, we ask that you please post a link to today's episode on all your social media to help us get the word out. Now, let's get started. Did you know many poor Americans are deliberately disappearing into Mexico? Care to guess why that is? It's because they can no longer live in the U.S. They could have survived in Florida or Texas or Tennessee or the Carolinas, but that was before. But now they're hearing about all the new tax legislation that's going to be increasing their taxes and decreasing the quality of their life here. New price increases on heating expenses, new price increases on gasoline, rising prices for food, inflationary pressure on almost everything. They're looking around and they're doing the research and they're deciding that places like Mexico make more sense for them. They can still live in the same time zone as their families in California or Texas when they're down in Mexico. By going to Mexico, they can still get back to the US within a relatively short flight or drive. The cost of living in Mexico is much more attractive and less expensive than what poor Americans are paying to survive in the US. But there are several other even more significant reasons for them to move to Mexico. One of them is the ability to move to Mexico and just disappear. It's much easier for poor Americans to deliberately disappear themselves in Mexico than it is in the United States. Down there, they can acquire a new name, identification. Some people have numerous names and IDs down there, and this allows them to slip into the shadows and just disappear. Now, we don't condone or recommend anyone do that, but the fact of the matter is, lots of Americans are now doing it because it's the only option they have left. Why is that such an attractive option for so many of them? Well, it's appealing for some poor Americans because it allows them to escape the crushing problems that they have in the U.S. Problems with horrific divorce decrees, problems with debt that they'll never be able to pay off, problems with wage garnishment, problems with felony convictions, problems with enormous tuition debt that they'll never be able to discharge in bankruptcy, problems paying for medical and dental treatments that they can't afford in the U.S. anymore because the co-pays and the deductibles are horrific. Countless other problems that haunt people who've fallen on hard times financially also motivate them to move down there. Some people feel that major problems like these have become almost impossible to escape in the U.S. But if they relocate to Mexico or Central America, then they can essentially wipe the slate clean and free themselves. They can start their lives over again. So what do they do once they get to Mexico or Central America? Some of them will change their identity and start to insert themselves in the local culture. They'll start to make friends and network with the locals. They will start a small business or get a job. They may try and survive on their pensions or Social Security. They may get into a relationship and use that to embed themselves in the local society. They may change their IDs a couple of times a year just to stay ahead of their problems. One important advantage is that if they have a serious health problem, then medical treatments in Mexico tend to be much more affordable. In the US, many people can't even afford the deductibles on their medical costs. In Mexico, those issues are far more affordable and manageable. Many of these poor Americans feel that the financial advantages of being able to disappear or change their identities in Mexico far outweigh all the challenges of having to relocate to another country. They will come to this conclusion by realizing that no matter what they do in the US, they'll not only never be able to get ahead, but they won't even be able to afford to feed themselves and keep a roof over their heads in the worst ghettos. There's another thing that Americans like about living in Mexico, and that is the sense of community. In America, they feel extremely judged everywhere they go. In Mexico, they feel far more welcomed by the culture. The Mexican culture is far more tolerant and understanding of poverty. Americans going there feel less judged. One problem they have to overcome, though, is the need to learn some Spanish. Even if it's just basic rudimentary Spanish, you've got to learn something just to make your life more easy there. Not knowing how to speak it will be a major problem for them if they don't learn. That's why many of them decide to learn Spanish. It also makes it easier to socialize, date, and just fit into the culture or go to the store and purchase something. There's another reason a lot of people go down to Mexico, and that is to escape their criminal pasts. Living in the U.S. with a felony conviction makes it extremely difficult to find work, but if you can move to Mexico and acquire a new identity, then that's what a lot of felons do in an effort to start their lives again. Mexico isn't the only option, by the way, for relocation. There are a number of countries that poor Americans can and often do relocate to. Some of these other countries are Costa Rica, Bulgaria, Thailand, Philippines. And here's an option most people never even consider. India is hands down the cheapest English-speaking country to live in by far. People are traveling there and they're retiring there. Some other countries where you can live for less than $500 a month are Nicaragua, Colombia, Panama, Uruguay. Remember this, in some major cities like Los Angeles, there are between 75 and 100,000 Americans living on the streets already because they just can't afford to live there on Social Security. They can't afford it. Now, the officials will tell you the number is only 50 to 60,000 homeless in LA. But we estimate it's 2 to 3 times that number. It is everywhere now. So some of them move to other countries and find that they can live indoors and eat 3 meals a day and live a life like a normal human being on their Social Security when they're retired. They won't be living in luxury, but they will be able to live decently and with dignity. And for some, when compared to living on the streets of LA or New York, that will be like heaven. Thank you for watching. I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on that notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. Also, we ask that you post a link to today's episode on all your social media to help us get the word out. Thank you, and we shall see you soon. Goodbye.